Oh, yeah.
This horrifying murder in Charlotte on public transit. The Ukrainian woman who came here to escape all the war that was going on, asylum from everything in Ukraine. I cannot pronounce her name, and I wish I could, but I can't. But anyway, so of course you would think we would want to address the evil that we now live in, just solely that any human being, regardless of gender or ethnicity, that would sit down behind another human being and be a 14-time, I've even heard 17, is it 14?
14.
14-time lawbreaker of various things, including on his criminal past, we have a weapon being used in a robbery. We have threats.
Yep.
He's the kind of guy that threatens people to the point that he is criminally charged with unlawful threats. I'll use weapons. I'll threat. I'm a criminal. Okay?
14 prior arrest.
14. So maybe we would want to focus there and focus on just the sheer evil of killing someone in cold blood because they sat down in front of you, even if the fact that allegedly he said something about the fact that she was a white woman and all that. I don't, but now,
on the mic you can hear him say, "I got that white girl," after he does.
Right. I just wanted to be sure that I was reporting that correctly. I mean, I know that's interesting things and that's provocative to talk about, but I wish we'd focus on the fact that kind of evil is in our society, just like we said on the last shooter and all these various heinous crimes that we see. But now, of course, it's turned into some sort of, let's be careful that we don't talk about, this has become an indictment on black men. It's become an indictment on evil. And I'm sorry that he said what he said, and I'm horrified that he did what he did, but let's focus, that really shouldn't be something anybody's overly concerned about right now. Because what we got to be talking about is where in the world do we live when things like this, like 14 prior arrests, and I still can't get on public transit without worrying that the guy behind me is going to pull out a knife and cut my throat and kill me in cold blood. So here is, let's go to 3E. So this is Greg Gutfeld from Fox. Now I see it's 2 minutes, which is a little lengthy, but he is going to take on Brian Stelter for saying that talking too much about the killer being mentally ill and not wanting to take on the evil of it all. So here is Greg Gutfeld commenting on it.
I'm tired also of the term mental illness being used as a cover for criminality. When a thug targets a woman, that is not insane. He knows she's weaker. When he comes from behind with a knife, that's not insane. He minimizes her ability to inflict harm on him. When the thug flees, that's sane because he knows if he stays, he'll be arrested. So what would be insane would be if he were to face off against a man without a weapon, somebody like a Tyrus. That would be insane. You'd go, okay, that's crazy. But almost all of these people that do this stuff, they go after women. That is not insane. That's self-preservation. This is not insanity. It's an evil mind. And it's an evil mind that is somehow excused in a culture that weaponizes victim status. In this case, mental illness. And what is it about a society that contributes to this? And I say this based on my own personal evidence of being on city streets every single day in New York, that when a homeless person is shouting at people, he's not shouting, "I really made a mess of my life. Boy, I really screwed up." No. His aggression is purely blaming other things and other people. He blames the world. He blames people. He blames you. So we're living in a progressive ideological nightmare where the worst in society is empowered by a sense of victimhood. So when this happens, they will still get people like Brian Stelter that says, "Oh, be careful of the racism," or other people saying, "You know what? We really need to be concerned about our services to the mentally ill," which may or may not be true, but he's not mentally ill. He needs to be executed.
Agree.
Yeah, see, it's different talking about mental illness. Now, I do not think that all mental illness, as we've said on Strange Encounters, is demonic. There are, the brain is just like any part of our body. Sometimes there's a chemical imbalance that people can be helped. But this particular case is just wicked. So I'm not going to be concerned about what Brian doesn't. He wants to make sure I choose my words a certain way. Brian, this is not time to be worried about, the ethnicity of the situation. We got bigger problems than that. And I agree with Gutfeld. It's not a time to be worried about mental illness, even though I do think our mental illness, the way we treat it in our country, it needs a lot of work. I agree with all that. That doesn't apply to this. This is about doing something about law and order and protecting society from evil people, and also asking hard questions, as we have said over and over. When are we going to take the spiritual part of all this serious and realize that we have dark, twisted evil, and we continue to fuel it by doing things that are evil ourselves? Our society creates these people. And until we approach it from that angle, we're going to solve nothing.
And it's not just Stelter either that is trying to protect these people that do evil. And I don't care what skin color you are at all. But we talked yesterday about how the New York Times and the AP, the Associated Press, had not covered this story at all. They had zero mentions of it. Now they've finally jumped on it. But if I go to AP here, you see they mention the story, but the story is about the quote-unquote MAGA backlash towards black people.
I know.
That's not what this is even about.
That is the
Same with
narrative.
CNN. Video shows fatal stabbing stirring up the MAGA crime debate. You're just like, you're missing the whole point of this. And you're not even covering the crime, you're covering the response.
And don't forget, these are the same people on the left that got on us if we didn't stand with Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.